This is Harry Gines, the first black man of reparations in U.S. history. I'm coming today to speak on some issues of Ferguson. Ferguson, Missouri is a suburb about 30 miles from St. Louis. Since then, as we know how history of Ferguson takes place, there was a shooting there by police of Michael Brown. That part, I'm not going to cover all of that. We already know that part. Rest in peace. Not here to start any trouble, not here to stir up any mess. I'm only here to speak out on the book presentation to the Ferguson people of Missouri. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, some people might say that it's not my place to do so, but I just feel compelled to try to bring something to the people that saw that video where there was a heckling at D-Ray. D-Ray came to St. Louis to present his book as it took place, as he saw it. Now, lots of times, you got to keep in mind a civil rights activist is someone that doesn't get paid. You don't get paid for trying to be a leader of a people or even someone who's trying to fix a situation. He's trying to fix a situation where there's been some police brutality towards black people in the United States. That's his whole calling. Now, it might sound like I'm trying to defend him. No, he is a grown man. Everybody knows that. He's man enough to stand on his own. But what I'm here today to speak on is the conduct of the people of Ferguson. Now, am I bashing the people of Ferguson? Not necessarily. What I'm trying to do for everybody to understand one point. When you have a guest speaker, whoever they might be, coming to your town to speak favorably, they're going to speak favorably about a situation that they would like to see some betterment of how the treatment is happening towards black people. We must stay with the core. The core says that a civil rights activist is there to make a difference. That's the gist of it. That's all these activists are trying to do, is to improve on a situation. Now, some people might say, well, you're making money. But yet a civil rights activist, he doesn't have a paycheck. So he has to do something to keep his livelihood going. You see, so he's not necessarily fabricating a situation, but yet his book is part of his livelihood. He is an educator. So being an educator, as people go through life, they have to make a living. It's not possible for someone to finance the cause without having some type of revenue. It's not even being asked for donations directly to the cause. He has a product that he's trying to allow people to say, hey, this should be something of interest. His book. Now, you might say I'm trying to defend him. No, he is a grown man that can handle himself. I'm sure of that. He's lived in St. Louis for a short time during the Michael Brown trial and the killing and all that. He took part in that to see if he could make a difference, especially with the people down there. So, like I said, I'm not here to try to choose sides as far as the heckler or D-Ray. All I'm saying is that the conduct of a township, when you have people coming into your town, we don't want to see history repeat itself as we've seen in the past. In the sense of civil rights activists being harmed to the point of deadly violence. That is something that needs to be understood right now. Let's not put ourselves in a position where our anger and our temperament is being took out on someone whose intent was to help. But that's very important to keep that in mind. Everybody should be on their best behavior at all times when you have someone that's not from there, but yet taking an interest in the situation. Now, if we look at it, Ferguson is a county or a suburb tied to St. Louis, Missouri. Now, St. Louis, Missouri, out of all the cities in the United States, St. Louis has more counties than any municipality in the nation. I mean, hundreds. To have that many municipalities connected to a county, of a city is rare in itself in this day and time. How did that happen? If I'm saying municipalities don't have as many suburbs and counties as a norm, St. Louis is not a normal city. You see, it really isn't, because like I said, all of those counties, it's maybe up to hundreds, in the hundreds of counties connected to St. Louis. That's very rare in the structure of a city. That's just rare. So with that being said, if you live there, and that is part of D-Ray's misunderstanding of St. Louis, you're not in St. Louis per se. You're part of a county seat. That's what it's called. It's a county seat. Clayton is the county seat that ties all those municipalities. There's got to be Clayton. You never even mentioned Clayton. Clayton connects all of the counties outside of St. Louis. That's the county seat. Now, why is that important? For one thing, if you notice, all across the country, what you have is a lot of city love. There's a lot of city love. Everybody wants to take their city and put it on a pedestal as if it's the best place in the world. That's how a lot of black people speak. Where you from? Where you was born. All those things, such as the city love, might be getting a little out of hand, and people need to speak out on that. What are you so in love with the place where you've been born when it treats you as it does? Okay? If you ain't got nothing going in the city where you from, but yet you have so much love for it, that's kind of questionable of your thinking. You love a place that don't love you back. You haven't been successful in the town where you was born. Why are you even there? You see, so in connecting all of that city love to what happened in Ferguson, if you notice, the heckler declared himself a Ferguson activist. Now that's what everybody heard. Now, a Ferguson activist is something that is too narrow. You see, if you're an activist for a people, but yet all your interest and concern is just your surroundings, Ferguson is a very small county. It's very small. And it's connected, like I said, to the county seat of Clayton, which Clayton is part of St. Louis in the sense of how a city and a municipality is ran. You see, so that's very difficult for somebody on the outside to understand. When you say you in Ferguson and you live there, yes, you wouldn't say you was from St. Louis. You would say you was from Ferguson. That's only 30 miles outside of St. Louis, but your love for the little county that you're in we might be going a little bit too overboard with the fact that all you have is love for a little small area. That love has to be broadened to any city. You see, you want to be an activist, but you're only an activist for where you was born and raised. That's a very small way of thinking. You see, an activist must be an activist for a people. Let's keep that in mind. You can't narrow that down to just Ferguson. This is a situation that's happening all across the country. So you declaring yourself a Ferguson activist is a very small way of thinking. You have to get bigger and better within your mind of how you're trying to present your point, and your point need not clash with somebody that's coming out of town to present a product. You know, he has to make a living, and that's very unfair for the people. As far as he came to see y'all and reunite with y'all, and then y'all act like that, you know, you might say I'm taking sides. Don't miss my point. Don't miss it. It's a very narrow township of Ferguson. Very narrow. So when you want to just narrow yourself to the thinking of that Ferguson is the only thing that matters, you're a Ferguson activist, but yet the rest of the nation don't sound like you have much care for. That's what it came across as. Look, I'm from St. Louis, born and raised in St. Louis. Now, you being from Ferguson, and if we both living in the same municipality, I'm from St. Louis and you from Ferguson. Only 30 miles different, but when we in that area, you want to make a point that you from Ferguson. Now, if you left the whole entire area and went somewhere else, what would you say? You would say you from St. Louis. Why didn't you say you was from Ferguson? Because no one would even know of you. No one would even know of your township. It's because you're tied to St. Louis. Once you leave, then you want to be able to say you from St. Louis. But when you're at home, you ain't from St. Louis, you from Ferguson. See, that type of thinking, that's too small, especially in this time, 21st century, for what's going on. That's too small of a thinking. That's all I'm trying to share with everybody. You see, and it's the same thing if you were to go to other cities. They have maybe not as many counties or suburbs as St. Louis has, but that same mentality is right there. They only can see the community and the county and the suburb in which they live. That's as far as they can see or think. Okay, let's look at that. I've laid a little foundation, and let's look at that. What happens is, when you go back in history, you will find out that a slave thought the same way. My plantation is better than the one down the road. You see, the one down the road, yeah, you've heard some of the treatment down there. Yes, you have. If we went back in time, but you proud to say, I'm with Mr. Johnson plantation. You see, it's the same mindset. You holding on to that same thinking that it's something better because you live in Ferguson and I live in St. Louis. Like I said, when we are there in that municipality, that is how you think. You don't want to be connected to St. Louis. You want to make a point as you getting around town. You want to make a point. I'm from Ferguson. What does that supposed to mean? That's supposed to mean of a status that makes you think that you better than the people in St. Louis. Why sure you do? It would be the same thing if you said you was from Ladue. You see, out in Rock Hill, out in St. Charles. Those people have an income more likely higher than the people who live in St. Louis. So you would want that status. Yeah, matter of fact, in all fairness, you haven't even been living in Ferguson that long. It might be 2, 3 generations at best. When black people start living in Ferguson, ask yourself that question. Because like I said, I am born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. And I know for a fact, the generation that's living in Ferguson, it ain't been around that long. For it being black and living in Ferguson, you're someplace where my grandfather would have told me if I even thought to move out there, he would say, you on your own. Because black people haven't been around white people like that out there. Y'all only been out there probably since the late 70s at best. You ain't got nothing black out in Ferguson in the 60s. So that ain't that long ago. You only got, I would say, like I said, 2, 3 generations at best being around a county like Ferguson to begin with. You ain't been out there that long, so you stepped into something that you didn't know about anyway. Yes. You don't know about Ferguson or the white people that live there. How is that? You ain't been there that long. So when it comes to you that you in a place that you really wasn't welcome, now you want to take a stand. See, I date back for that status that you're trying to give to Ferguson being a monetary status. The same status was said about Pine Lawn and Jennings. Those places in the 60s and 70s, if you could get out to Pine Lawn or Jennings, you felt you was somebody. I live in Pine Lawn. I live in Jennings. I'm steady going further from the city. Why are you trying to leave the city? Guess what? It's being posted right now that is over 12,000 homes in the city of St. Louis that don't nobody want. They've been abandoned, run down, the whole 9. Why is that? Because y'all moved off to Ferguson and beyond. You left the city. That's what you done. So now you out in Ferguson trying to exercise some rights. I know what you're doing. You're trying to exercise some rights. You're trying to make a stand. Yeah. But the only thing about it, them white folks out there, they ain't giving up that easy. You see, always remember, you got a plantation mindset thinking that it's something better because you live in Ferguson and then the poor blacks live in the city where their homes is all condemned. You look down on them. Yes, you do. Now, D-Ray, back to D-Ray. He don't know nothing about that. No, he don't know nothing about no inner city rivals. He don't know nothing about that. He came with the goodness of his heart to try to see if he can better a situation. That's what he came to do. You see, so he stepped into something. Every time he keeps mentioning St. Louis, no. If you was from St. Louis, you wouldn't talk like that. You would never make that mistake of saying, oh, I'm in St. Louis, but you really mean you want to talk about Ferguson. See, the people that don't talk like that, you know, they want to make sure that their status of that county is important. The same way a slave did. When a slave had a plantation that the master treated them good, that was important. You see, I work and live at a master house in his land, you know, where he treats me good. He treats me good. Yeah, he do. But now, that same scenario that I'm trying to make, you doing the same thing out in Ferguson. So now you want some sympathy? Because you moved in a place where you didn't know how the masters were out there? That's what you did. You moved in a place where you didn't know how the masters were going to treat you. Now you want the whole country to come to your assistance. And many are. But when they come, look how you act. See, no, that's what you need to think about. How you act when somebody from the outside coming to your county of your status where you like to brag about being from. Because like I said, I'm from St. Louis, and I know how y'all act. Y'all don't want to be tied to nobody from the city. No, that ain't you. You want to make sure you from Ferguson. We know all about y'all back there. Then when D-Ray show up, he don't know no better. He thinking he's speaking all the time about, yeah, I went to St. Louis, this, that, and another. Yeah, you went there and you keep speaking about St. Louis. No, stop talking like that. You went to Ferguson. That's where you was at. Those people out there have always been in a status where the people in St. Louis is somebody, yeah, look down on them because we live in Ferguson now. We visit y'all every now and then. You see, coming through driving slick, dressing slick, but you ain't from the hood. You've been out of the hood, like I said, only 2-3 generations, that's all. And when you get in St. Louis, you really don't even want to interact with nobody. But here you got D-Ray coming to your assistance and knowing he don't know all this. I'm not trying to side with anybody. I'm simply saying, you are having a slave mind. Now that is what I'm saying. When somebody come to your assistance and you can't even give them the hospitality of saying, what kind of product you bringing in here? You see, oh, you trying to get some ends, some monies? Okay, we understand your product. You know, you can come along. You done came a long way. That's what D-Ray did. He came a long way to get bashed like that. Come on now. I'm not even trying to side with him. No, I'm not. He just didn't know. He didn't know. But I know how he is. Yes, I do. Yeah, I got people out there too, matter of fact. Yeah, I know how my people act. Yeah, it's a family thing. It's rooted in the family. Don't tell me anything about St. You can't tell me nothing about St. Louis or St. Louis County. Neither one of them. I know how the people is. And y'all got that slave mind. That's what's being told to you today. Look, that was a situation that I hope everybody learned from. Because if you went back in history, you would see the same thing. Every civil rights activist dating back to Marcus Garvey didn't like the other civil rights leader, such as W.E. Du Bois. They didn't get along. Noble Drew Ali, they didn't get along. Nobody got along with each other. So when somebody stepped into a township coming from somewhere else, there y'all go, acting just like them past civil rights leaders dating back to Marcus Garvey. Yeah, you want to make sure you get off on them so you can be the Ferguson activist. What? Look, like I said, that was a statement that brought about this video. You see, you a Ferguson activist. That's what you is. Yeah, a little small township, that's all it is. This ain't got nothing to do with Malcolm Brown. This ain't got nothing to do with his family or nothing. I'm talking about the activists who want to say he's a Ferguson activist. That's what you is. You're a Ferguson activist. And anybody on the outside of Ferguson coming to your assistance, they must be like invading your territory. Is that what it is? The plantation that you in Ferguson? Is that what it is? You didn't found a plantation that you think supposed to act a certain way, but the white people down there, you ain't gonna tell them how to act, but you're gonna tell D-Ray, who came to your assistance, oh, you're gonna get at him though, huh? Yeah, see how it happens? It's the same thing if you move a little further. We was back in Marcus Garvey for a minute. I was making that example. Okay, you want to talk about Martin Luther King? He didn't like Malcolm X. Malcolm X didn't like Martin Luther King. It took years before they came to any kind of an understanding about anything. They were totally opposite and would bash each other. You see, yeah, that's how y'all act. Y'all always talking about coming together, but nowadays, you got way more activists than what you had during Malcolm's and Martin's time. And everybody claimed to be an activist. You an activist. Well, what makes you an activist? Yeah, tell us. Tell us what makes you a Ferguson activist. Because Michael Brown got, shot in an unrighteous manner, now all of a sudden everybody coming out of the woodwork, I'm a Ferguson activist. Well, where was you prior to him getting shot? You wasn't no Ferguson activist then. Now everybody want to jump up and say they're an activist. No, I don't recognize, everything that you're trying to say. I don't recognize it because I know how your town is and I know how the city is. Yeah, I know exactly how it is. Listen, there's one thing about it in a lesson like that for everybody to learn. Your own people are subject to be your assassin. Yeah, your own people. And he was a perfect example of that. I'm not trying to bash you, man, but you could do way better than that. And then did nobody even try to intervene. But see, the person that intervened, guess what? They the one gets stuck with the problem. You see, anybody try to get in the middle of something, you think you have a right over everybody else's. Why did you come there in the first place? The man hadn't even, stood up and said anything. I didn't hear any part of him. You had the whole show, then the video got cut off. You didn't shut the whole damn presentation down. Come on, man. But let me tell you something. There's another activist dating way back by the name of Louis Farrakhan. But see, Louis Farrakhan shows people how security works. And he uses security towards his crowd of his own people. Don't make no sense? Sure it makes sense. Because it's the own people that he knows is more likely is going to get to him, and he don't want that, so he has to protect himself from his own people. Yeah, that's right. That's how it is. But he's smart. He knows the lows of man. And any man that can get close, that want to take his position, that's called headhunting. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's an old term back in the 60s. You got something that I want to be like. Yeah, Louis Farrakhan knows all that. You want to be like Louis Farrakhan? No, you can't be like Louis Farrakhan because he is the real deal. He ain't going to let you get to him that easy. No, and he's smart about it. He has something he wants to get to the people, but he knows there's always one out there that's trying to headhunt. He knows it. Yeah. So learn from that. Learn from your elders. Learn from those in the past. You see, in the past, make sure Louis Farrakhan's still around, but he has gone through a lot to know how security works. Now, D-Ray, make sure you don't miss that lesson. Matter of fact, I was so shocked that you showed up in St. Louis because the last thing I DR'd you. Yeah, direct message. Told you, you might not want to keep running in and out of St. Louis. There I go again. Talking about St. Louis, but what I'm really talking about is Ferguson. But you got to get to St. Louis first to get to Ferguson. I've been telling you, man, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. You keep running in and out of Ferguson like that, them people showed you. That's what they do in Missouri. They show you how they will act. Okay? And take that for real. It could get worse. You ain't got to be scared. Just recognize when you come, always think of the lows of man. You see, there's a low to man. Make sure you recognize it because at the lowest of man, that is a headhunter looking for your place, your position, your status to be you. That's what they look for. That's a headhunter. Yeah. You saw one. The whole country, all over the world, saw a headhunter from back in the day. Listen, all you got to recognize is one thing. No, you don't want to come deep with no security. You don't want to, but make sure that security of our activists step your game up because some headhunters is out there. You see, I'm not siding one way or the other. All I'm saying is make sure that history don't repeat itself through faulty presentations that have no security, no background. The church is the same way. Think about it. You go up in a church and you want to stand up and heckle a preacher, ain't no security really there. I don't see, is there an armed security in church? Does it have to come down to that? Might have to. Listen, your leaders are deserving better than somebody trying to get close to them to do great bodily harm or even heckle. Okay? In other words, you don't have, like the president's security. You don't have the privilege of that. Even the president don't get around nowhere. He don't go nowhere without his security. So you need to start recognizing what you might have to do to get to the people with what message you're trying to bring. It ain't really that simple. It really ain't. Because like I said, there's so many people out here that would love to see your downfall. You see, you may think, we're going to come together. How you going to come together with all these different activists trying to call themselves leading a group of people? I don't see any unity. It's too much division. So all you really can do in a situation like that is to basically keep your distance, keep the social media thing going. If you could do your interviews, with mainstream news, media and stuff like that, just stay in your lane. Yeah, your lane is not different now to letting people at that low level where you coming in, trying to be a street person. Yeah, we know about you, Matt. You're a street legend. Yeah, D-Ray. Yeah, you're a street legend, but you didn't get out that lane now. Now you up there. Okay, once you get up there, it's hard to come back down, but you come back down, they're gonna pick your bones. Yeah. Well, you look mighty nice, you shining. You see, it's happened to me plenty of times. The hood changes, go back into the hood, you're shining. Dressing slick, driving slick, but the hood ain't really the same. And as it gets darker and you steady out there kicking it, but you can see some ones off to the side, they kind of huddling up. They done sized you up too. And they didn't see nobody but you. And you ain't been in the neighborhood in a long time, stopping in to visit some old faces. Okay, you ain't seen what's happening in a long time down there. Make sure, that you're there, but yet don't put yourself in a position, man, to get took like that. It even happened to Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala went back home and got robbed. Yeah, so people be trying to say, well, these entertainers, they don't do nothing for the neighborhood that they came up out of. Yeah, every time they come back in the neighborhood, somebody got something to do. They got something to do. Yeah, they stick up men. They see you draped in gold and nice clothes and what time is nice Rolex. Yeah, who running around the hood got that kind of gear? See, you got to be careful, man. You just can't, fall back from where you come from. You just can't do it. I remember back in the day, Leon Spinks whooped Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he whooped him. Take that title. But guess what? I ain't trying to talk bad about nobody, but I mean, once you get up there, you have to be careful as you come back down. Leon was a legend too. Still is a legend, but the things that he done, as he tell his story today, he say, men only dream of the things that I've done. Yeah, well, why ain't you on top of your game? Still, you fall off. You come back down into the hood, you driving that slick limousine. Yeah, but all of a sudden, they pick your bones. You see, and you find yourself in the same position that you was before you won the title. Trying to come back to your people. You know, it's been plenty of times people in the Olympics. Read a story one time, might have been some track Ethiopians or someone from that land won some gold medals and went back home, thought they was going to get a parade or something. No, but people saw them come back after winning the gold medals in the Olympics, and guess what they did? The parade was picking their bones. You know, you can't even come back from where you have this vision. Everybody has this vision of coming back home, you know, and everything's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Let them catch you out there. It's going to be all right. Yeah. See, the streets don't change, man. You know, anytime that you can't protect what's yours, that's what you always, when you get up there, make sure that. You ain't trying to hurt nobody. Don't do that. You know, but always be aware of your surroundings. You know, because you stepping in and out of these towns that ain't the same when you grew up here. Now, it ain't the same. So always keep that in mind, because if you can't treat so many activists, like I'm saying, but as they getting around, recognize what they coming for. They're coming to bring you some messages, might even need some donations, might even have some goods to sell. You know, they ain't trying to just make you reach in your pocket. They might be peddling something, okay? That's not the time to pick their bones. Don't do them like that. You know, don't do none of them like that. They're not deserving of that, okay? You want to get ahead, but yet how you go about it, you know, why? Why would you want to change history just for a moment of picking somebody's bones? You know, that ain't gonna last long. It ain't, no. I can see if you really trying to pull a stunt, you know, but, you know, let me leave that alone. But no, I'm saying, you know, those kind of stunts, like I said, when you're seeing someone draped, that's a short run, man. That same thing happened to Michael Jordan, daddy. He can't even ride in the country. Took his ring. That's what got him popped off. That's what I'm saying right there. You know, took Michael Jordan, daddy. Michael Jordan gave his daddy one of the first championship rings Michael Jordan ever had. And that is what got that young man caught up. Who got a ring like that? A Michael Jordan championship ring that his daddy running around everywhere across the country in, but you decide to pick them bones. And you out there flaunting it. No, that's a short run, man. You know, how you gonna get away with having Michael Jordan daddy ring? No. Somebody gonna look at that on your finger and recognize, damn, when you started playing for the Chicago Bulls, what year was that? Yeah, the first one? Yeah, one missing? His daddy missing a ring? Oh no. It's coast to coast. Where is the ring? The man get caught with that ring. Yeah, you gonna do some time for that. Say, you're gonna do some time for that. Because you got yourself in something, picking somebody's bones, but you ran into the wrong one. Yeah, Michael Jordan daddy. See, you got to keep in mind, man, everybody, you know, that's at the bottom, you know, that ain't nowhere, you know, to really find yourself trying to always uplift them people. You know, you want to uplift them people, but you got to be careful too. You don't want to stick around too long. You know, you can't. You can't. You know, you stick around too long, yeah, you find yourself in the same situation that they in, a hopeless situation, where it's a lot easier just to pick your bones. So keep that in mind as these activists are touring the country to try to give people some respect, you know, that their message is deserving of. You see, I don't understand any of that. Nothing like that. That's not no, it's just a shame. Like I said, I'm coming from St. Louis, but yet the people of Ferguson, man, that was just that was just something, man, that people really need to learn from. Please learn from that. Because I can't see even going back home, knowing how y'all subject to do, what? I gotta come in all strapped up and everything for my own people because they gonna do me? Come on, man. I grew up in the hood like y'all grew up in the hood. Same thing. People out in Ferguson. Y'all wasn't always there. Your mamas, your daddies, your granddaddies, no, they was not born. Find out. You find out. You'll find out them residents is real short. It's a real short residence there. And y'all acting like that. When you put yourself in position, always running out there chasing behind some white people. That's what you did. When you was in the city, oh no, you want that status. I know you do. And you went out there with them white people. See, like I told you, my granddaddy would have told you, go out there, you're on your own. He wouldn't have played with you at all and would have meant that. What you want him to do? Posse up with a bunch of his people to come out there and fight with some white people when all you had to do shouldn't have had your ass out there in the first place. Excuse me. No, you shouldn't have had your ass out there in the first place. Really? It's over 10,000 homes in St. Louis. So it's plenty of room for you. But you want to go out to Ferguson. Now, excuse me. Y'all just bring the worst out of people. You have to learn to recognize when somebody is trying to come to give you a message, man, that's getting real low, to picking bones like y'all doing. But I'm going to leave y'all with that. I'm leave you with that right here. Stop picking bones. It's a short run. Whatever they had at the moment, Michael Jordan ring is a real life story. You see, as you do the things that you're doing out here. D-Ray, I ain't never turned on you. Like I always said, until you do something, I'm going to be with you, man. I'm going to be with you until you show me one thing that's out of order. And as of right now, you ain't done nothing, man. You ain't done nothing. So you keep your head up. But I told you the direct message. Yes, I did. The last time I direct messaged you, that's what I was trying to tell you about. It might have been in 2017. It's been a while. But people need to realize something. There's one thing I want people to know right now. Whatever y'all think of Harry Gines, always remember this. Ain't it kind of strange how I then came, onto the scene? Ain't it kind of strange? Yeah. You know why? Because I watched on TV D-Ray out there on them streets of Ferguson. I seen him working. I seen him. Yeah. So his book, I'm looking to get a copy. Yes, I am. Because he brought me to y'all. Because I couldn't really my situation was kind of bad at the time. There's a lot going on with my life too. But here's somebody that came from out of town to a place where I grew up and trying to help somebody when I couldn't even do that. That made me feel really low. It really did. But at the same token, I grabbed hold of some energy, and I watched D-Ray hit that computer 6 o'clock in the morning, talking about catching a subway in the snow. I was right there on the computer right with him. Come on, man. Keep going. That's what I was doing, giving him something to feed on so that he would be strong enough to get through his daily mission. And at the same token, I felt some energy also. Come on, man, clean myself up. I can do better. I can reach some people too. So that's what happened. Yes, this product right here was inspired from D-Ray. Now remember that. I am the first man of reparations. I ain't got to, stutter with that. That's who I am. He got a copy of my case. Yeah, he got a copy. I made sure he had one. And when he ready to use it, always remember, he got my approval. It's the next generation. So why wouldn't I? I didn't lay foundation everywhere I can about my case. I put it in his hand because I believe in what he's trying to do. So what y'all doing right now, no. I'm going to keep him up. That's what I'm going to do. If his head was down leaving out of there, I don't know. But I didn't like how things went. So here it is. You decide. Am I siding with my home team or am I siding with D-Ray? You look at it any way you want to. Like I said, I'm born and raised there. I have a right to speak. I didn't like it. No, I didn't. And somebody, I can't apologize for y'all. I won't apologize for y'all. All I'm saying is, stop headhunting. That's what you're doing. You're headhunting. See, you want to be a Ferguson activist. Well, I be damned. See, that's the problem. Right there. That city love. The city don't love you, but you love the city. That don't make no sense, man. That don't make no sense. None at all. All y'all do the same damn thing. I'm from Chicago. Yeah. I'm from LA. I'm from New York. So what? If it don't love you, why you got all this love for it, I don't know. See, you need to be trying to get yourself up out of there or rebuilding it because it looks real rough these days. Like I said, Detroit, St. Louis, all these major cities got tens of thousands of homes abandoned that don't nobody even want. But y'all want to run out to Ferguson. Yeah, now you're having some problems. I mean, Michael Brown's mother is running for council. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but prior to the incident, were you even in politics? Why is everybody jumping up, claiming to be something that they never was before it even started? All this police misconduct then brought everybody out of the woodwork, claiming to be something that prior you wasn't interested. No, this is recent. All this stuff is recent and is springing forth so many activists, that how do you justify being one? Because the police done what they done, so now you are the speaker for the whole damn country? How you do that? You ain't got nothing. There is no blueprint to being an activist. I'm just saying, prior to these police misconducts, wasn't nobody even really thinking about being an activist. Not really at all. You see, so I don't know where it came about in the woodwork. Everybody feel that they need to be some type of a civil rights leader. Yeah, you think about that. You just think about it. Because credentials, people want to say, but what is the credentials to be what you say you are? I say I'm the first man of reparation, and because I said, you can check it. You see, that's what you can do, but don't worry about me. I'll do my own battling. You see, yes, I will. I do my own battling. That's why my case, Harry Gowns versus the United States, I could have y'all on the team or without. It really don't make no difference to me because it's all in my name, but I know how I am about y'all. I'm going to hit you with some food. We'll work all that out. Yeah, I'm going to hit you. Yeah, I am. But at the same token, I know how you is, though. See, don't blame me for that, for knowing how you is. Because you probably wouldn't do the same thing for me as I would want to do for you. No, I don't know. You might do me the same way you done D-Ray. Yeah. And that's just bad, man. I can't think of anything at this time that's any lower than what the Ferguson activists, his display. No, man. You know, y'all be your own decisions on whether I'm siding with somebody from out of town or trying to hang with y'all homies. I don't know. But I don't act like that. No, I wasn't raised to act like that. You know, that's somebody coming from out of town was always a good thing. I don't know where that came from. That's hard to, to take. It really is. So, like I said, I'm going to leave y'all, man, but always remember, you got something in your head that I didn't seen before and read about that looks pretty much like it was in the past, dating back to the slavery. You really got that city love real deep. Yeah, it's real deep. City love. Man, y'all get with me and figure out, what's right and what's wrong on this. Because you got to do better than that. Was D-Ray right? Or was the heckler right? I don't know. But like I said, he has a right to earn a living. And it's an honest living too. So, like I said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Get rid of that slave mindset or that city love. Because look, I ain't finna have that. I'm not gonna have it. Not with me. No, that ain't what you, don't do that. Don't do that. Because I don't like what I seen. But like I said, I ain't against y'all. And I ain't against him either. I'm just saying, gotta do better than that. That's it.